My name's Patrick Foley, and this is my review of The Hunt for UK Film Review. So this is a very extremely violent slasher movie from the writing and directing duo Michael and Gerald Crum. It's centered around an influencer named Brooke, who's played by Shanon Snedden, who is looking for online notoriety, and to do so she stages a serial killer situation out in the remote sort of desert area in the state she lives. Along with her friends and producer, they set up a situation where she'll be targeted by a serial killer. They hire a sort of reclusive, lonely janitor to play the role for them in Brooke's imagined situation. After they offer the role to this guy Marx, he starts to take it a little bit too literally and decides to fully embrace the serial killer role by actually hunting down members of the film production. I find it unlikely that anyone is going to sort of stumble upon The Hunt who isn't fully prepared for it to be what it is, which is very violent, very graphic, almost, I use this word in a critical way, but also in a sort of way to admire what it is, but it's quite a nasty film. It's meant to make you recoil. It's meant to make you horrified, and anyone going in ought to really know that before they view the film. It is a film that feels like there is almost a sense of pleasure, borderline titillation, about the situations it puts some of its characters through, some of the setups that the killer gets to explore, which is definitely not for everyone, and anyone should know that before they seek this film out. To be perfectly honest, I was a little bit disappointed by the lack of imagination, the lack of originality in the film. The Crums are veterans in this space, and I would have thought they'd have maybe put a little bit more panache into this one. The angle of the social media star desperate for fame who puts herself in this dangerous situation is an intriguing one, and it feels like one that they sort of set up but never really explore. Not much is made of that wider social media angle about what it means for Brooke's plan to work, whether that puts her in more danger if people are hearing about this story and maybe want the killer to succeed, whether the killer themselves seeks out level of fame that maybe they can get from going viral on the internet. Feels like a film that is made where the violence is ultimately the point, which is probably true. And if you as a viewer enjoy that, then that's something you may find satisfying in this film. But I thought there were elements this film could have gone that it opts not to, even though it sort of sets itself up to, and that was a bit disappointing for me. I also found the characters pretty one-note and pretty forgettable. It feels like there's sort of a skeleton structure of motivators that have reasons to do the things they do, but you as an audience never really connect to them, never really feel them. Brooke's yearning for fame feels like an obvious one that again doesn't really get explored. We know that that's what she wants. We know that that's her role, but we don't really understand why she put herself in this situation, what she wants to get out of it. Similarly, characters like Louis or Chase, they don't really get much more than the sort of building blocks of the character that are set up and usually stated by the performers themselves. And add to that, really even the kind of more horror prominent elements of the film are things that anyone who is even sort of remotely interested in horror films will have seen many, many times before. A lot of the film takes place in dingy warehouses or dusty rural landscapes, things like that are just sort of very well-worn territory. The monster killer themselves just pretty sort of generic design. There was quite a sort of haunting effect. The killer never makes any sound whatsoever, no utterances, very, very silent, very sort of eerie presence, which does work, I think, at times through the film. It allows some of the other actors to sort of really play off of this soulless void that is slowly hunting them down. But the trade-off for this is just that it's a very sort of soulless character. There's not much you can gain from it, even in the small sort of mysterious elements. It's just kind of a blank void, which, as I say, has mixed success for me at best. So overall, I can't really say I was impressed with The Hunt. It sets up some sort of mildly interesting areas for it to go down and explore sort of social commentary on online fame and things like that, but never explores these in any sort of satisfying way. And even if you've come to this film just to enjoy the horror and the splatter, it's not really anything that the fans won't have seen many times before in superior installments of other films. I would say that this isn't one that is worth hunting down.